You've heard it 1,000 times already. The headline is the most important part of your sales letter. You've got milliseconds to grab someone's attention, get them to continue reading and then dip their hands in their pocket and reach for the old credit card. Easy, right? For some of the most successful marketers on the planet, that's certainly the case, but for most new creators, it's far from reality. And often it comes down to one big mistake they make when they're starting out. Want to know what it is? And more importantly, how to overcome it? Keep watching. When people are starting out on their marketing journey, one of the problems they face is the feeling of imposter syndrome. So when they're writing about their product or service for the first time, they'll often tone it down a bit to feel comfortable that what they're saying can't be seen to be exaggerated or blown up into something that's not how it is in real life. This is a big mistake. Yeah, it all sounds admirable and you may well be thinking absolutely right, that's what they should do. The trouble is, it doesn't work. In sales, there's absolutely nothing wrong with bigging it up. Let me explain. If you're trying to build a brand so you can sell over time, you can take this a little bit easier. But if you need sales quickly through direct response marketing, i.e. a sale there and then from the page people are reading, your headline needs to make the biggest possible promise that can be achieved from your product or service, even if it's not by the majority of people who use it, so that anyone can aspire to get the same results. Now you might be thinking that all sounds a bit underhand, but it's not at all. If you've got a great product or service that people truly benefit from, you're actually doing them a massive disservice if you can't get them to have it. So using persuasive language to paint the best possible outcome you can actually deliver is the right thing to do. In fact, the whole of your sales material should carry the message of offering the biggest possible promise or the absolute biggest, best outcome that's actually deliverable. This is why I like to think of a sales letter like a black hole, where the force of gravity is so strong that nothing can escape, not even light can escape. So your sales message has got to be like the gravity, so strong that your readers can't escape, they're just pulled in because they're just compelled to find out more. By making the biggest possible promise that's genuinely achievable, at least by someone in real life, you can create such a compelling introduction to your offer that your readers just have to find out what it's all about, because they want to know what's in it for them. Basically, if it's worked for someone else, it can work for them too. And this is the key. They don't care about you or how long you've been established or the fact that you're proud of what you do or what you've achieved. All they care about is what's in it for them and how you can solve their problem. Whether that be they haven't got enough money, they're overweight, they're unhappy, they can't find a partner, or they just really want something because it'll make them feel better. In other words, you need to promise them that you can deliver the one thing that day that they perceive will make a massive improvement to their lives. Now don't get me wrong, you should never lie. That's the quickest way to lose customers forever. Too many marketers lie about what they're offering, and as soon as they're found out, their reputation's gone for good. However, as long as what you're claiming is actually doable, preferably by a number of people, but if not, as I said, at least by someone, then it's perfectly fair to make the biggest possible promise you can, because everyone then has the opportunity to aspire to it. Top advertising companies do this all the time, or variations of it, as do many global enterprises. Take McDonald's, for example. Whether you like them or loathe them, when you go into a McDonald's restaurant and see the vibrant photos of the perfect looking hamburger pictured on their overhead menus, you'd be hard pushed to think you're not in for a succulent treat of mouth-watering delight. But is that what you get? The reality is you end up with a bit of cow meat squashed between two pieces of cardboard and a mess of soggy lettuce overflowing into spilled mayonnaise. Of course, it is possible to produce the perfect looking burger. In other words, it's genuinely achievable, but do you think customers really mind? What really matters is the benefit they get from it. In this case, they're hunger satisfied, and as far as I can tell, most people who frequent McDonald's love it. So how do you write a headline with a big promise that keeps the reader curious and want to find out more? Well, the first thing you should know is that headlines are used in different ways for different mediums, but the objective of all of them is to get people to carry on engaging with the content. The first line of a tweet, for example, is effectively a headline to get you to read the whole tweet, or the words you see on an Instagram post to get you to engage with the post. The title, thumbnail on a YouTube video is designed to get you to watch the rest of the video. However, when it comes to direct response marketing, i.e. selling something straight away, there are a number of key elements which will make the headline so powerful that the readers will be hooked immediately. I call these elements the S.W.I.P.E ingredients for a killer headline. S for specifics, W, who's it for and what's in it for them, I for intrigue, P for promise, E for excitement. Now, the W and P we've obviously touched on already, but let me just run through each of these in more detail, then I'll go through a few examples to show you what I mean. Okay, starting with S. S for specific. Specific sell. By using specific details, large numbers, dollar or pound signs, number of days, times, certain people's names, names of famous people, guarantees, the more specific your headline, the more engaging it becomes, because people can relate to it and can imagine what your product or service can do for them in their own life. For example, if you're selling a diet program, rather than saying something generic like how to lose weight quickly, it'd be much better to say something like lose 2 inches off your waistline in the next 14 days without giving up cream cakes, or drop 2 dress sizes in 7 days without even thinking about going to the gym. If you're struggling with your weight, but you like your sweet stuff, the specific detail of dress sizes or the number of inches off your waistline in a certain number of days without the difficulty of going to the gym or cutting out the crap is going to make you think, oh, how's that possible then, and want to know exactly how it works. This is why specifics in headlines will always outperform generic headlines. W. Who's it for and what's in it for them? People are in far too much of a hurry these days to waste their time on things that don't serve them or provide them with any perceived benefit. So when someone comes across your sales message, you've got a matter of seconds for them to decide whether what you're about to tell them is worth their time reading it. This is why your headlines needs to make it clear as soon as possible that this is what they need. Now, when I say they, I mean he or she. Or I suppose it could be they nowadays, but your headline needs to be talking to a single person, the reader, not a wider group of people, but a single person in a specific niche that you're targeting. For example, you wouldn't expect someone who's looking for a way to, say, make money online or how to groom their pet dog to be interested in your brilliant sales copy on losing weight. This is where new marketers go wrong, because they try and write headlines that appeal to the masses. You might think, check this out, is amazing, sounds exciting, and will appeal to a broader church of people and therefore make more sales, but in reality it just makes them click away. By having your headline voice that talks to a single person in a specific niche is much more effective, because people having issues in that niche will be much more receptive. Let's say you're aiming a product at people who are looking to make some extra cash quickly. Check this out, it's amazing, could work. It'd be much better to say, make an extra $2,500 a week from your smartphone in less than 10 minutes a day. It says exactly who it's for, someone who could do an extra few bob, and what they're going to get out of it, $2.5K a week with no major effort. Okay, I is for intrigue, creating the feeling that, oh, I wonder what that is, or how does that work, is absolutely essential for a direct response sales message. When people are curious and desperately want to find out what it's all about, that's when the old greed glands start waking up and they start imagining that maybe this is the answer they've been looking for to solve their problems. Now, don't worry, when I talk about greed glands, it's nothing nasty or sinister. It's just a metaphor for when people want something like yesterday. Now, obviously, the skill here is to tease them with finding the answer in the body copy, although in reality, the actual answer comes when they buy. P is for promise. We've discussed this already and it's the key element of this video, but just to recap, promise is the absolute best possible outcome you can genuinely deliver with your product or service. Even if it's not by the majority who use it, as long as it's possible to achieve whatever you're claiming, then making the biggest possible promise that you can is fair game. E is for excitement. This is where you really want your headline to feel upbeat, where it's got a rhythm and the reader gets a real sense of positivity and a good feeling about what you're going to offer. I've often written headlines where I've literally felt a buzz myself, so much so that I start thinking to myself, I'd buy this. If you can generate that type of excitement when you're writing it yourself, you can be pretty sure other people are going to be fired up and excited as well. I want to find out more of what's in it for them. Okay, now we've got the ingredients of a killer headline. Let me give you a few examples of what I'm talking about. Actually, before I share, let me just mention something else a lot of copywriters talk about. You'll often hear them say things like a headline should be no more than 12 to 15 words long. I disagree. I think it should be as long as it needs to be. There's no doubt a short, snappy headline can pack a powerful punch, and if it says what it needs to, then for sure, keep it short. But sometimes you need to get your message across with more details. In this next example, the client was selling some software for somewhere between £1,200 and £2,500, which is roughly $1,500 to $3,000. I wrote long-form copy for a one-page website, and as soon as people arrived, this is what they saw. Now, what would you say is the headline? The no fluff, no nonsense part? Or the £400 an hour part? It's actually all of it. Although you might think the first thing people see is the part at the top, the reality is they took it all in seconds and then actually read the words afterwards. And that letter pulled in just shy of £2 million worth of sales, which is nearly $2.5 million. Most of which, by the way, was pure profit, so you can see how it really worked. The big promise here was the lure of £400 an hour without any nonsense or BS, and it really tapped into the greed glands. However, with the guarantee as well, it got them curious and they were compelled to find out what it was all about. Say you're selling a fitness program. Rather than get your dream body fast, how about turn your beer belly into a six-pack in under 3 weeks using our secret no workout abs accelerator, just a few minutes a day. This is obviously a made-up example, but you can see how the use of the swipe elements can generate a real feeling of positivity, excitement and intrigue and set the mood for your potential customer, almost craving to know what it's all about. The thing is, the headline is so important, pretty much the most important part of any sales message, so you should dedicate the time necessary to make sure it's right and offer the biggest possible promise that's actually achievable. Now finally, that brings me on to something else a lot of copywriters will tell you, and that's that you should write the headline last. Just get the copy done and the headline will come. I don't agree. It certainly doesn't work for me. I always start with the headline. I'll often spend days and days getting it right, literally. Because once you've got the hook, the pull, you've got that part right and the rhythm and excitement level feels good, it makes the rest of the copy flow that much easier. As I said, if you can get to the point where you're starting to feel, I'd buy this myself, you're on to a winner. Okay, so there we are. If you got something out of this video or found it useful in any way, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like more simple tips on the fundamentals of writing effective sales material for building credibility, engagement and increasing sales using powerful little word strategies that anyone can grasp, why not download my free Coffee Break Credibility Crash Course, a quick read that you can finish in less time than it takes to finish a latte. I'll leave a link down below in the description. Okay, so with that said, time to wrap it up. Till the next one, ciao.